This is Eric Evans, Director of Career Development, with Natalie Lemasters, who's a 2018 alum. She majored in Marketing and Business Administration and now works as an e-commerce coordinator at Steris. She was part of our Marketing Communications Forum that was slated for this spring semester. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have that as a physical event. I'm eagerly planning that for when we're back on campus, perhaps in the fall. But in the meantime, I was really eager to have a conversation with Natalie and let students benefit from her insight in terms of how she got to where she is, advice that she would give her younger self or other people trying to navigate their path, not just in marketing, but any career trajectory that involves active student engagement, internship to job, but very much interested in your particular story. So, Natalie, first, can you just talk about a project that you're engaged in? What does an e-commerce coordinator do? What is your week filled with?
So my job is to manage a website called Shop Steris, and it's kind of like the Amazon for service parts for equipment. So basically, Steris sells these big pieces of capital equipment like surgical tables or autoclaves or steam sterilizers, and those things last. It's like a car. It's like buying a car. You buy one and they're good for like 15, 20 years. But then we as Steris service those parts, or service those pieces of equipment. And my position is a very new position to Steris, because we didn't actually have an e-commerce platform to begin with. So and that's crazy in this day and age because everything is done online, but up until 2018 or 2017, we did not have an e-commerce platform. So everything was being done via phone. So we collected, and I was really excited. When I was an intern, I was part of this team that kind of brought this website to fruition. And I got to really understand how we collected this feedback and then how we use that feedback going forward. So my day-to-day job is really analyzing customer trends and then figuring out how we can turn those customer trends and voice of customer feedback that we get from people using our platform and turning that into the better customer experience. And so day to day, it looks a little different every day. And I'm involved in a lot of little mini projects and then kind of bigger overhead organizational projects and how we can use Shop Steris to minimize. I'm sure everybody's all talking about lean right now, and minimize our overhead costs to drive more people to this platform because it's easier, it's more user-friendly than picking up the phone and calling in. So that's kind of what my day-to-day looks like.
And is there more spotlight on what you're doing, more
I'm sorry, you broke.
Pressure and focus on your activity? Is there more pressure and focus on what you do given the current circumstance of more reliance on e-commerce?
So I'm really interested to see the numbers after the fact. But right now, currently, we do offer our consumable sales, I imagine, are your hand soap and things like that are what's going to drive people to the site to purchase. As far as service parts, though, ORs are still operating, hospitals are still operating as normal, as usual. So I think that right now, currently, I don't see the impact yet, but I'm sure when I see the numbers here in the at the end, our fiscal year ends today. So I'm sure we're really going to see what this past month has really transpired. So I can't speak to it yet, but I imagine it's been an interesting one for Steris so far. So.
And you're working at home right now?
Yep, working from home.
How has the transition to working virtually been?
It's been an interesting one. I am totally the type of person that likes to have those face-to-face conversations because you can really gauge what a person is thinking about an idea you had. There's a lot more of an open conversation. We made the joke in our meeting this morning I had that it's oh wait, what were you saying? And you have to stop, let that person talk, and then you have to talk. And so it's a little bit of a a little bit of a handicap, I think. And I'm also used to having like 5 computer screens, which I have one.
Mhm.
So,
Right,
but
right.
I'm just thankful to be home and healthy. So it's been,
Absolutely.
I'm glad.
Absolutely. I think it's been a challenge for everybody to navigate these new waters. So you mentioned the internship that you're engaged in. That's actually, it was kind of moving forward the work that you're doing now. I feel like a lot of leaders emerge during a time of change. That someone who can navigate change, someone who can help other people through change. So it could be the change we're experiencing right now, but also the change in moving to an e-commerce platform. Um, what did you enjoy? What did you get into in that internship, and how did that positively impact the role you have now?
So my actual internship was online marketing, which I had no idea, like when I got into marketing, what that actually meant. And I was like, oh, it's tweets, it's Twitter posting, it's Facebook posting, and it was all of that. But what I got to be involved in was the whole online aspect, like Steris.com and all of its different domains, and understanding those, which I had absolutely no idea about. And I was so fortunate in my internship to have, sorry if you hear anything, my cat is going crazy.
That's okay.
And but I was so fortunate to have like a mentor, John Farron, who actually hired me for my internship. He was so great in anything that I wanted to do, and I had a just a little bit of an idea that I wanted to learn about. He was all about it, and I had conversations with different people in different marketing departments, because what I didn't realize when I was getting into marketing is how what marketing covered. I had no idea that e-commerce was even a part of it. And I got talking to the e-commerce manager, and he was like, yeah, like let's have a conversation and get these things moving. But it all kind of like intertwined with each other. But it was a pretty cool experience.
It sounds like it. And what do you think you did in the internship to land the role you're in now? How did you present yourself day to day that you think they wanted to bring on board?
So the best piece of advice anyone has ever given me, and I like share this with our interns at Ceres now, is that treat your internship like it is a 3 to 6 month. My internship lasted a year long long interview, because the entire time you're there, they're getting this idea of who you are, what your work ethic is. And there was never a time where I sat at my desk and I was like, oh, I don't have anything to do today, so I'm going to sit here and do something else or browse the internet. I was always asking, like, what can I do to help? What needs do you guys have? And I would do anything. I'm talking from filing, and those filing tasks, then I was like asking questions, and then those questions like, oh, well, why don't we pull you in on this project? Because asking questions and being proactive, nobody's going to hand you a project on a silver platter and be like, okay, go for it. Like, you need to be active. And another thing is, sometimes it's like better to do. Like, something I learned was like, oh, I have this idea. Well, let me bring this idea to fruition, and then kind of talk about it with my manager. And those ideas are important, because that's what you want to bring to the table when you're in a meeting and you're throwing around ideas and things like that. So definitely being having an open communication with your manager too, and just I was really upfront saying, like, I want this to end in a job, like I really like working here. And he knew that, so going into it I was definitely transparent too.
Absolutely. I've heard people parse out if you're a doer, which is kind of a sad state of affairs. Shouldn't we all be doers? But I think to present yourself as someone who wants to grab hold of an opportunity, wants to make the most of it, and otherwise, only strengthens you, only gives you more options and more fingers and other possibilities. But so it sounds like you really made the most of that experience. In terms of your time at Lake Erie College, I think you also made the most of your student experience. You're very active students. So the RA ambassador mortarboard, making the most of your time at Lake Erie College is very much what we're incentivizing and encouraging students with Pathway to Empowerment, with Power Up Scholarship Program. How do you think that, I guess, making the most of your time at Lake Erie College helped you where you are now? How did it develop you as a person?
So I give my entire work ethic to like Lake Erie College was like the sponsor of my work ethic, I think, because I really was probably over involved in college, but my day was filled every day, all day, and I got really good at time management. Something when I was an RA, Kim in student life was like, if you're not early, you're late. And to this day, I still I'm 5 minutes early to meetings. I'm the first one there. I'm taking notes. And those things I learned through my time at Lake Erie College, managing my schedule and, you know, my open dialogue with professors, Dr. McManaman and Professor Sleetar, and they were two people in my college career that just really helped me. And to this day, we still talk, Professor Sleetar is the one that reached out. Dr. McManaman and I have conversations all the time, but they're professional conversations too. If I have a question about, a question about my job or career advice too, they're so open to me asking those questions, and I wouldn't have gotten that, anywhere else. Like I said, I'm a big fan, but getting involved on campus definitely prepared me for after college life, because it is definitely an adjustment. So yeah.
I very much agree. You just, I feel like that as a parent, I'm trying to get people in good habits, and the more you do that, brings more doing. The more you're organized, that brings more organization. Just to find your rhythm, find your strategy for getting it all done, but also having those mentors along the way. I think my not so hidden agenda is getting people mentors, and that comes from networking, comes from job shadowing, comes from internship, but really it's that relationship that can continue to thrive. So Professor Skledar is having her marketing students view your video, view some of the videos. So it comes full circle, so I think, have you found yourself, so previously mentored by student life, by marketing faculty, have you found yourself becoming a mentor to others? So you talked about the advice you give to interns. How has that shift been, and how have you seen yourself grow because of it?
I am so grateful for the internship program that we do have at Steris, because they allow other interns to kind of be that mentor and give advice on how you got here, and what is that important, what's your why, and why are you here today. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. But in my personal life as well, I'm always trying to, I love my Lake Erie alum, and I'm always, or alum or current students at Lake Erie that I follow on LinkedIn or whatever, I'm always posting internships and things like that. And I do find myself kind of in that mentor role to our interns at Steris, and trying to guide them through, because it was kind of for me at least, I was kind of taking a shot in the dark. I had a list of places I wanted to intern, but I had no idea until I got into the building what that even meant. So just having an open mind, I think, is important to share as well. So
yeah, that alumni connection is huge. I think any event that I'm organizing, I'm always thinking about alumni first. They're a very different energy in a panel. So I think it's not just, I guess, giving insight, but then also very keen to make that connection, to make those relationships, because they have that thing in common from the get-go. But so it sounds like, so you're becoming a mentor for other people. it sounds like you have kind of found your spot of the moment. What advice would you have to students um, navigating internships this summer and fall? So I think that's the conversation I'm having with many students now, is trying to figure out their next step. What advice would you have for graduating students looking for full-time roles, but also for current students looking for internships?
I think that being proactive and reaching out. So, like I said, I had this list that I had been creating um, of just potential job opportunities. Like I had like Progressive and just like other brand muscle, just companies in Cleveland that I was interested in working for, whether I was interning or whether it was like looking for a job there. And I was always actively looking um, for internships and jobs, but I lost my train of thought there. Back to your question.
No, you were totally on it. So you got a short list of like your targeted companies, and you were constantly like checking to see what they had on offer.
Yeah, and so adding like people on LinkedIn, like alum, like if you see an alum that works somewhere where you want to go, I'm sure, and I'm not speaking for everybody here, but at the same time I'm sure no one is gonna, if you add an alum on LinkedIn and send a quick message to them, nobody's gonna turn you away. And I feel free to reach out to me if you see anything posted, because the people internally have a lot of I don't want to say pool, but a little bit of knowledge about like the process and getting hired or getting an internship. And I followed those people on LinkedIn. I tried to, try to navigate my way. I was maybe a little too eager, but I think it's totally okay to just proactively reach out, and I know you don't have anything available right now, or sending an email and saying like, I don't know, I know you don't have anything available right now, but I am a, Lake Erie College student, like currently job seeking, and trying not to make it so like a template, like that you're sending to a million different people, but really trying to be personable with that person that you are sending that email to, because you do want a job, or even if it's like your dream job and you see someone that's in your dream position, sending a quick email to them and saying, hey, I your job is something that I've always dreamed of doing. Like, tell me about your day to day, and really just starting to build those relationships with people. I do that in the company that I work for now. I reach out to people who I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I always tell that to my boss, and it's like, I don't know if this is like my path forward, but it's just having those open conversations with other people. Like, maybe I want to do product management, maybe I want to do project management, and hopefully one day I'll figure it out. But right now I'm just having those conversations. So
Yeah, I very much agree to get a short list so that that's not the universe that you're targeting. You have like a slice of it that you can focus on. But I also agree about using LinkedIn as a tool to build more relationships. Absolutely, if you're an alum, if you have that shared common thread, many people will connect with you, and that networking conversation that you alluded to of at the worst case scenario, you're going to practice a mini interview and you're going to get some insight into that organization. But even better than that, they can connect you to someone else that's closer to making hiring decisions for the position that you're targeting.
Yep.
So, and also, I think it's news to students that networking conversation doesn't stop. That we're always evolving, we're always developing, and it only helps you to help others. So that mentor thing that you were talking about, that's actually where it gets the most fun, is helping others come up, helping others develop, knowing that karmically it's going to come back to you, and that's only going to strengthen your coalition of relationships. But when you applied to Steris, were you able to talk to another human being that gave you insight before you hit your internship?
So I actually kind of took a shot in the dark here, and Dr. McManaman, so this was actually before you were here, and there was no career services person, and I had overheard Dr. McManaman offer a Steris internship to someone else, and she turned it down. And I just by chance was like, hey, I have open time in my schedule next week or next semester. But I applied to probably 70 different internships before I heard back from two. And so that's something that I always try to stress to people, like, don't get discouraged because something will stick. And it doesn't. I did a couple other internships before I worked with the Chamber of Commerce, and it was, very humble and whatever. You don't have to go for those like big, like those picture. I'm trying to picture like a show where they have these like these glamorous, internships. They're flying places. Like that's not realistic. But at the same time, like I did apply to a lot of internships, and finally, I think I got like 3 people reached out, and Steris just ended up working out. But I did end up talking to through the internship process my hiring manager. It was really he was like, you don't have a lot of experience, but all it takes is one person to take a chance on you. And I think that's important to remember too. Somebody will take a chance on you, especially if you're from Lake Erie,
Yeah. I think that human connection, like at some point in that interview process, you connected as another human being. So he felt more comfortable to take a chance. And that's kind of what the networking hooks into, is not being a number in a machine that's all part of an application process, but human to human. Do we connect? Do we fit, kind of thing? But the internship percentages, right? So application to landing, absolutely, it can be difficult and it can get you down. I think that's also part of why I encourage people to network, to get outside of the space they're in, get off the internet, connect with people right now, even if it's by phone, to just get a shot in the arm that you do skills that are valuable, you do have possibilities. And the more those human conversations and connections happen, the more you see possibilities that aren't online, but also increase your chances of those applications that go in. But I think it's also everything you don't get, you get stronger from, right? So all those previous applications got completely bulletproof at doing applications. And so by the time you hit Steris, you're like, okay, I've got this. I know what to do. I know where to go. So it's almost trying to learn those new rules through a bit of a baptism of fire, a bit of like, figuring the strengths by stumbling a bit. And I think that's true for everybody. Like it's an awkward space to be in, to get practice at being real and being yourself in that space.
No, I totally agree.
You're saying you're still figuring out your path, still figuring out where you want to go. Any inkling as to what's next for you with e-commerce or otherwise at Steris?
So right now, Steris has this career development program that I got to be a part of, the pilot for it. And basically we can come up with what we would like to know, be in 10 years and 5 years, and kind of come up with this short-term plan. But I was really transparent with my supervisor, and I said, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Like, I know I'm grown, but I don't know what I want to be. And so now I'm in a process of, it's currently on hold because we're remote, but having lunch with people in different positions in marketing, directors, product managers, project managers. I'm hoping that I actually do really like what I'm doing, because it is so different, and I never expected that I would really like the project. It's a little bit of project management as well as product management, in the sense that we're managing a product of a website. And so I'm getting a little bit of that both that I like. So I'm hoping in the next year or so that it does progress on from here, but who knows where I'll be in, a couple of years. But I do see myself staying with the company I do work for. So that's a good feeling.
Absolutely. I'm glad you found a match. Glad you found a place that values what you bring to the table. The through line I keep hearing is that you grab hold of opportunities, and that I think it's kind of a mistake to plan out your life for the next 40 years because twists and turns happen and opportunities arise. So I think being ready for the next opportunity, being ready to grab hold of it and try to make the most of it, I think is a big part of success in life. And it sounds like you've done that quite a bit. You hear from McManaman, oh, Steris, and then let's try that. Let's jump in the deep end, even though I'm still finding my way, is a very powerful stance to be in because it's not always the norm for people. That change or that unknown can be scary, and letting yourself be more excited than apprehensive of the unknown, I think, is a powerful place to put yourself in.
Yeah, I think it is scary. I think anything that's new is scary, and like walking into a workplace the first day is so intimidating. And like I honestly walked in the first day and I was like, when's my day going to be over? Because I was so nervous. And but just knowing that there are people who want to help you, like you and everybody at Lake Erie College. And if you have questions, and then like you said, finding that mentor and being a little bit uncomfortable out of your comfort zone. I remember asking my supervisor in my internship, I said, will you be my professional mentor? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. And he was like, yeah. And to this day, I can walk into his office and be like, hey, I got some questions for you because I have no idea what I'm doing. And he's like, no problem. And he will make time for me. So it's a good, establishing those relationships too. And being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that was what the saying was. So
absolutely. It stretches you. It strengthens you every time. So I very much appreciate you taking time to share your insights with us. I very much look forward to the physical forum that we can plan when we're back on campus. But thank you so much for sharing your insight and for offering connection to our students. I think a big part of the reason why I support alum is the right thing to do, but it also motivates them to keep giving that back and keep helping our current students find their way. So I really appreciate everything you've done, and thank you very much for taking time to give your insight to our students.
Yeah. Feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, message me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, if you did apply for a job, let me know. I can try to get it to the right person. There's so many people that work at Steris, and I always get like, hey, can you help me here? And I'm like, I will try to get it to the right person, whether it gets there or not, but feel free to reach out. So.
No, really appreciate that offer, and I think that giving back to others is a very powerful place to be in your career. It only makes you a stronger professional. So I really appreciate you holding on to being mentored, being mentors to people currently when you benefited from mentoring previously. I think that's a lot of people's cycle as a professional. So thank you very much, and I really wish you all the best in the rest of your day, and hope you give yourself a reward for all your work at home. Some kind of getting outside a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's.
Oops, you're breaking up. If you're talking. Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.